Hello, everyone. I'm Minister James Moss back here with, yet another part of the series of Just a Closer Walk with Thee. All right. So far, we started with Sister Rolanda, Evangelist Rolanda Masharia, who had the vision for Just a Closer Walk with Thee. God gave her a vision on how to teach this, and she did the book of Matthew. That series was about 110 videos. It took Evangelist Masharia well over a year to complete all of those videos. But we have it on our website, Aleph2omega.net. And when you go to video archives, you'll see JACWWT-Matthew, JACWWT-John, and for this one, JACWWT-Jude. So this is a series that we're doing, this Just a Closer Walk with Thee, and this we're starting it off with the people who walked with Jesus or who had actual personal interaction with Jesus during his time on earth. And then from there, we'll complete it out with our presentation of the last two synoptic gospels. So right now, what we have posted is Matthew and John, and now we're doing Jude. So Jude, you'll be able to find this as well on the website. So Jude was half brother of Jesus. Okay, so that's why we chose him. And the chapter it's a one chapter book. The first video is going to be kind of short. We're going to cover the first couple of verses. But then after that, the next video is going to be a little extensive. All right. And then afterwards, when we close out in the third video, it's going to be about the normal size or normal time frame to complete that video. So look, I truly hope that you'd set aside some time to really indulge yourself, learn, and just kind of be enlightened from the author's perspective of how Jesus affected their lives. Okay, so we're going to start off with Jude, the chapter 1, verses 1 through 2. And it reads here, greetings from Jude. Jude's letter focuses on apostasy, when people turn away from God's truth and embrace the false teachings. Jude reminded his readers of God's judgment on those who had left the faith in the past. This letter warns against false teachers. In this case, probably those who were promoting an early form of Gnosticism. Gnostics opposed two of the basic tenets of Christianity, the incarnation of Christ and the call to Christian ethics. Jude wrote to combat these false teachings and to encourage true doctrine and right conduct. All right, so we're going to read the first couple of verses of Jude, and then we're going to go back to the commentary and see basically what the commentary has to say about the two verses. All right, so here we go. Jude, the servant of Jesus Christ and brother of James, to them that are sanctified by God the Father and preserved in Jesus Christ and called, mercy unto you, and peace and love be multiplied. So that's the two verses that we're going to cover right now, and we're going to go right to our commentary. All right. Our commentary is Jude was a common Jewish name. Scholars have, and this is verse 1, scholars have various opinions about Jude's identity. For discussion of this, we see the author section in the introduction of our commentary, which I may go back to the introduction section and expound on this a little bit. The overwhelming majority consider him to be a half-brother of Jesus. In his introduction, Jude identified himself as a brother of James. This James was not one of the apostles named James, but another of Jesus's half-brothers. And he's also referred to in Galatians 1:19. Apparently, Jude held some authority as revealed in this letter. He most likely traveled as a missionary and naturally would have wanted to write a letter to his converts whose faith was being threatened by false teachings. All right. Oddly enough, Jude did not refer to himself as a brother of Christ. It would seem that this would have carried even more authority, like James. Jude simply identified himself as a slave of Jesus Christ. As believers, they focused on their spiritual relationship with their Lord and considered themselves privileged to be called his slaves. Jude did not specify any destination for his letter. Instead, he addressed it to all who are called to live in the love of God the Father and the care of Jesus Christ. Being called is also referred to as elected or chosen or predestined. All right. God's Spirit calls people out of darkness into the light of Christ, convinces them of their sinfulness, shows them what Christ can do for them, and then helps them to accept Christ. God's love prompted his call. This love will continue now and forever. God's love never changes. The believers across the ancient world, often facing persecution, could count on the fact that they were and always would be enfolded by God's love. In addition, believers are kept in Jesus' care and will receive the certain rewards of Christ's promised blessing. At Christ's second coming, believers will be ready to receive their full salvation and to live eternally with him. Verse 2. See, that is just verse 1, right? Verse 2, mercy carries with it the Old Testament picture of God's loving kindness or compassion. God's mercy helps believers day by day. Jude knew that the believers were facing difficult situations in the world, a society focused on selfish pleasure, ready to persecute believers at any provocation, with false teachers looking to tear the churches apart. He was aware that all these things were kind of in motion. So, hey, the world was looking for any reason to tear the church apart, and the false teachers was like, yes, we're one with the world. Okay. Mercy helps believers in their times of need. All right. So in those times where believers really feel like, that there's a lot of oppression going on and persecution in their lives, mercy is a thing that comes to you and it actually encourages. So that's an awesome thing. Peace refers to the peace that Christ made between us and God through his death on the cross. Only God can give true and lasting peace. We find that in John 14:27. The believers needed an abundance of inner peace and quiet confidence as they faced the turmoil in their world and as they stood up to false teachers. So when you stand up to false teachers, you're going to have that inner peace, because they're going to try to shake you. They're going to try to rattle every part of your foundation. And we have to know that, we got that inner peace. We got that inner confidence. So that's a wonderful thing there. Love comes from God, for God himself is love. Believers who are grounded in God's love can resist the lies of the false teachers and remain solid in their stand against persecution and temptation. God will generously grant their requests and meet their needs. So this is just kind of a summation on the greeting of Jude, chapter 1, verses 1 and 2. The next one we're going to get into is going to be the danger of false teachers, and that's going to cover verses 3 through 16. So this one's going to go really chest deep. So it's going to get a little intensive. It's going to be a little lengthy, but stick with me as we do this lesson next time here on Just a Closer Walk with Thee, as we do the book of Jude. In the meantime, God bless you. God keep you. Thank you so much for supporting what we're doing and the things that we're trying to promote to help people understand who this Christ is and why we should follow him, why we should listen to him, why we should reverence who he is. And so these lessons, I truly hope that they open your eyes and mind to a greater truth than what you've been exposed to before. In the meantime, God bless you. God keep you. Thank you for your support.